Hello everybody, welcome to how to use the item shop in Smite 2021. Today I'm going to be showing you the best ways on how to work the shops and everything, how to use relics especially, because I've seen a lot of people have been kind of confused on that. So, let's run right into this. So, when using the item shop in Smite, I would recommend for starters, as it says in the starter, I recommend purchasing either one of these and then buying some potions with your leftover money. That also helps a lot. And what it means by this, item right here is that's the item you want to build towards first. Like if you look right here, it says core. Those are the core builds that you want to use on your character. This is the character that you want. Those are the items you want to use on your character as frequently as possible. And as soon as you get as soon as possible, you see there's Bloodforge, which is a lifesteal, and I'll kind of explain some of the items, on how it works. Basically, how Bloodforge works is whenever you kill an enemy, you get 200 shield, and plus 10 per level for 20 seconds, and you get 10 movement speed. So every time you kill someone, you get a shield and a movement speed. Yeah, Heat Seeker, it shows, it's one of the things you have to read about, is some items have, abilities that go along with it. And this is just the basic things you want to build, but what I usually do is I go to popular, and I literally just build whatever's popular. So I work my way and purchase one item at a time, depending on the scenario. So when playing like an assassin with high cooldown like Tsukiyomi, cooldown reduction is everything. So that might want to be the first thing you go to. Or if you're playing against, a tanky person, there's attack penetration. So that ignores armor. So that's usually things you want to look to. I'll probably explain things, as we go along. So like physical power, it's just, every damage per hit. Mana, it's the mana bar, the blue bar on the bottom. Physical penetration, that is, it ignores 10 armor. That's what, physical penetration means. And the 20% cooldown reduction means your cooldowns are 20% faster. So and physical lifesteal means 15% of the damage you do, you get back. MP5 is, I do believe, mana per second. Crowd control reduction, that means, crowd control reduction means like, stuns, slows, minion slows, stuff like that. And power, this is what you want to go for if you're building just power. So certain characters that you build, which I'll start creating videos on, just only use power. So this is the things you want to build towards. Some use attack speed, which are mostly hunters. Hunters usually build attack speed and critical chance. So attack speed raises how fast you can attack, every ability. So this is really important when you play hunters, especially like Nice and Artemis. These are perfect examples that you want to build these first. Lifesteal is for hunters and warriors, so that way they can have high sustain. The more health they get back, the longer they can stay and fight. Penetration, as I explained before, it ignores armor. So every time you get physical penetration, it ignores that much amount of armor. Critical chance, best way to explain this is every time you hit a person, you have a chance to deal double the damage. That's what, critical chance means. And then defensive, physical defense just means, every time someone hits you, that's how much that is negated from it. Because I've noticed some people don't really quite understand this, so these are usually used for guardians or warriors. They're mostly built to, when you're playing a guardian or warrior, it's morally important to build whatever the team has. So if a team is primarily physical defense, or primarily physical, you want to build physical defense. If the team is primarily mages, you want to build magical defense. So on and so forth. And these items are amazing to build, especially when you're a guardian, because the longer you can stay alive, the more you can help. Or when you're playing a warrior, having one of these abilities can absolutely just make you broken, because that means you could do damage and not take a lot. Magical defense is, as I explained, health. The higher the health you have, the better. HP 5 means health per second, so that means how much, health you regenerate out of combat. CCR means cooldown reduction. Utility, basically these things provide help for your teammate. So aura, when anyone is around you, that gives your teammates around you that specified, specified item ability. So it says ally god within 7 units have their magical protection increased by 20 and MP5 by 30. So these are really good for Guardians because that allows the Guardians, whenever you're near anyone, to get health per second or magical protection, so on and so forth. So that's what aura means. The aura helps out your teammates that are around you. Movement speed is self-explanatory. The faster you go, the better. Cooldown, I've explained. Mana's only good for, mages mostly, and some assassins have to build mana in order to stay alive. Like I have to build when playing Tsukiyomi early game. I have to go for Heartseeker because my mana absolutely drains. Essential is just, when you first start, these are, when you're playing Conquest, these are mostly just Conquest things. I'll also go over the consumables in a bit. But when playing Conquest, purchasing one of these are absolutely amazing because they do give passive things that also do help. And yeah, let's go on to consumables. Alright, healing potion, when purchasing this is 50 gold. It provides 250 health over 25 seconds. Mana gives you mana over 25 seconds. A multi-potion gives you a little of amount of both, but not a lot, as you would get from purchasing one of these potions. The ward, when placed, the ward allows you to see on your map a certain amount of vision of where you place the ward at. The Hands of Gods, actually, this is just a smite. So basically what this does is whenever you drink this potion or consume this item, it deals 200 damage on around you. So this is very good for junglers early game because it allows them to clear faster. So there's a Sentry Warden, which is just the same thing, but you can see through walls. Or actually, it moves you wards within 45 units. It does respect line of sight and can't see through walls as stealth. It remains 3 minutes or until killed. Can only be carried once. A chance of healing. So this is one of the things that I really like is the what they call like the drinks. Is these consumables heals 25 over 24. So basically what this is it's a healing potion, but you can forever have it. Every time you go back to the fountain, it recovers over time. Same thing with the Chalice of Mana. And then Chalice of Oracle, this consumable places a ward that allows you to see normal enemy movements with 45 units. It does respect the line of sight, so it's the exact same thing as a Sentry Ward, but you forever get it. And then the Potion of Power, when consumed, it's, physical power by 40, magical power by 70, and cooldown reduction by 10. So this is usually used for late game. So when you build late game, this is like one of the best things to have, is because it, provides just a little bit of protection. These 3 items down here, these are late game. These are something you probably don't want to rush until you're absolutely sure. Elixir of Defense provides magical and physical protection, 10 damage mitigation, 20 crowd control reduction, and decreases taken from structures by 25. Like I've said, that's just, late game magical and physical protection by 25, increased damage done by structures 25, grant 10% penetration for 6 minutes, and, that's what you want to build for late game usually when you want consumable items. Time to the hard part. Relics. I'll probably try to do this as quickly as possible. So, Cursed Act. Using this item reduces healing received by enemies within 55 units for 40%. So this is usually good for assassins, because assassins, the only way for them to sustain is if they have lifesteal. That's why they usually build attack speed and lifesteals, because the more they can dish out, the more they can take in. And so usually when you're playing against an assassin especially, you always want to use this on them because that takes half their healing away, which means they're only half as effective. Aegis Amulet, basically you're invulnerable. You can't cast any abilities out, but you're invincible for like 1.5 seconds. And you can't take any damage and you can't receive any healing, so you're kind of just in a state where no one can touch you. So it's usually good for getting out of like slow, or not slow, but close counters. Heavenly Wings, just the people around you gain movement speed, and they're immune to slows. Blink allows you to teleport a certain distance, but you could have not received or taken damage within I think a 3-second time period. Magical shells, basically you just put a shield on you and your teammates. I apologize about that. You put a shield around you and your teammates, and this is good for usually guardians who are tanky. Meditation, the best way I could just say this is it restores health and mana. It has like 3 clicks, I do believe. They have, I think, reworked this. This is good for, like, I don't know, sustaining. When you're, like, in lane, it's really good just to have that. Teleport glyph, you can teleport to any allied structure in place. This effect is, I do believe that works with ward, so if you placed a ward, you can teleport to the ward. Purification Beads, basically, no one can stun you. If you use Purification Beads, so say like Ymir comes to you and ults, you know how he has a slowdown effect? You're immune to that. You cannot have a slowdown effect, but you can still take damage. Ares hooks can't. When Ares uses his ult, he can't bring you in if you use Purification Beads. Basically, you're just immune to anything that can slow or stun you or anything like that. So it's really good early on, especially when you're playing ADC, because a lot of the times the support will like to try to stun you and try to get you locked in place. Shield Adorns, basically whenever someone attacks you, they take damage back. They take a percentage of the magical damage they receive and back. And then Sundering Spear, they do maxed health, and they basically do they do 5% of your max health, and then if you have any shields, they take a lot of that off. Phantom Veil, this allows you and your allied gods within 35 you to pass through players and player main objects. So this is really good when laning. I don't see a lot of people use it though. So say you're in a team fight, and a lot of the times you can actually get body blocked by your teammates. So you would want to use that, and then you can go through minions and you can go through like towers, so that way it's easier. Bracer of Radiance, actually, I don't think I've ever used this one. This one seems like new and familiar. Place a random glow for target location. For the 90 seconds, allies who move through this glow gain 10 increased power if above half, and 15% if placed below half health for 8 seconds. If friend acts as a ward, you destroy the cooldown, the relic is reduced by 20%. Okay. Basically, you place down like a banner or something, something like below nose, and people who are above 50% half health get attack speed, increased power, and then if they're below, they get movement speed. So that's really good. So it kind of balances out. Beltle Frenzy just gives you 10% attack speed, or 10% damage dealt, and then 25% attack speed. So it's just really good to use Beltle Frenzy. I usually use this when I play in Hunter and Assassin. Horrific Emblems slows movement speed of all allied gods within 35 units by 30%. So this is really good when used when you're playing a warrior and you're trying to have someone not run away from you. So you could just pop that. Allows you to close the gaps, and it's just a lot better. So I apologize if I was fast about it, but that is pretty much it. That explains, half of almost if everything of the item shop. If you guys have any questions, just comment down below what you guys need or need help with. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed.